So you're planning a trip to Snowdon. You've come to the right place. Well, hello! If you are new to this channel, hi, my name's Emma, that's me, and I love to go on adventures. I love sharing these adventures with you, sharing what I get up to, and sharing who or what I meet on my adventures. Sometimes I go solo, but more often than not, I'll have some form of company, like Diego Dog, my husky, or some of these lovely people. If this sounds like your kind of jam, I would love for you to subscribe and share with your adventure buddies too. But enough about me. You are here for some top tips for maybe your first trip to Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales. In my last video, I showed you Dolbaden Castle in Snowdonia National Park. The trip to North Wales didn't quite go to plan in the beginning, but eventually we did make it to North Wales. And here are my top tips for your first time to Snowdon. My first tip comes straight from a local. Thank you, Steve, if you're watching this video. He suggested that we use the park and ride service to avoid the ridiculous parking fees at the main car park. Rather than paying £40 at Pen-y-Pass, yes, 40, we parked at Llyn Teyrn for a £5, and then we got on the bus, which was £3 return. And that took us straight to Pen-y-Pass car park, where most people begin the walking trail. So my first tip is to use the park and ride service to save yourself some serious dollar. We're about 10 minutes into the miners' track and we've come across our first lake, and it does look stunning. We planned our route in advance and we decided that we wanted to take the miners' track up, which you can see here in black, and then we'd take the peak track down, which is here in white. So my second tip for you today is to plan your route in advance. This always helps, especially on mountains. Should we? Yeah, let's go. Miners' path follows that route all the way around, and we found a cool little headquarters thing over here, just there, and we've come off the path a little bit just to get a better view, also with no people. On the track, lo and behold, a beautiful bridge separating this one and this one. Following the miners' track will actually allow you to see more lakes. First you have Llyn Teyrn, then you have Llyn Llydaw, and then you have Glaslyn, which is still to come. The miners' track was built to serve the Britannia copper mine on Snowdon, as its name probably gives away. But it's a more gentle introduction to Snowdon, so even if you don't reach the summit, you'll still have these beautiful views when you follow this track. Oh, would you look at that? We've come up to a bridge, and there's another little baby bridge there. Path is definitely steeper but it's still lovely, and we've just come across a nice little waterfall, but we have had to shed some layers because there's a worm. Tip number 3 then is to just dress wisely. You probably get really hot and sweaty. So here we have the source of that waterfall, another lake. Not gonna lie, this part looks a bit hairy. fairly hefty climb. But it's really cool. At this point we got mega thirsty, so definitely take some water with you. That's tip 4. Water is your best friend. By this point we had used a lot of energy on that really hairy part, so we decided that it was time for a snack break. It was actually crazy how quickly the clouds came in around us while we were eating. It was really entertaining, but we got cold real quick, hence the layers were back on. I've got to say, we felt a million times better after having a little energy break. There's no pit stop on the way up, and the cafe at the top was closed. You'll definitely need a little energy boost before you get there anyway. So my 5th tip is to definitely take snacks with you. That's definitely the quickest way down. Made it to the ridge at the top. Visibility is great. To see for miles. So that's the direction we come from. You can spot the train track just here. We're going to follow that ridge up there. Whew. I can see why people take the train. You will save a lot of time and energy, but only when it's sort of worth it for the visibility. These people are waiting for whatever that is. Had our cute little picture, and now it's time for the descent. But instead of taking the miners track, we are going to take the peak track, PYG. So they kind of meet at one point, so instead of going back down miners, we're going to go down the other one. We are currently on the peak track, as you can see. So this actually is kind of like a higher up view of the lakes that we saw on the miners track. I think it's more of a gradual decline, whereas the miners was like flat, 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 steep. This one is very gradual, and the views are pretty glorious. Learn from my mistakes and take appropriate footwear for this, not trainers. I did originally bring my hiking boots, but guess where they are right now? Here's a clue. So yeah, don't slip and slide all over the place like me. Take the right footwear, you won't regret it. I think this is actually my favourite part of the whole walk. The absence of people. Look, they're all down there. Haha. Tip number 8 is to not leave your hiking shoes in your broken down van, or take some appropriate footwear. Oh, by this point, we are so tired. We've been hiking for 5 hours. Huh? Whoa. Perno Pass is that way. That's good to know. That sign for Penna Pass was very welcome. We're almost at Penna Pass, but today we've seen sunshine, we've seen rain, and we've even seen hail. It's hailing. So my 9th tip is to check the forecast and plan your day around that forecast. At this point, my phone actually died. So thank you, Alex, for capturing the final moments of our day at Snowdon. We had such a great time. It was really fun. It was tiring. It was super fun. We had amazing views. We got some amazing photographs. So glad we made it up to the summit. And I just have one final tip left for you. And that tip is to have so much fun, have the best time. Hopefully you found this video really useful and valuable, and you'll take some tips with you for your trip to Snowdon. What I want you to do though is I want you to leave your own tips for others in the comments. If you do go, if you have been, leave those tips in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you love this type of thing, and I will see you on the next video.